2024 edition of Ńkàtá Ụ. This year's edition is funded by the Ford Foundation, and the focus is on enhancing inclusion across Ala Ìgbò. So I got back at that. And the Ford did our time, tonight, I'm going to go to the Nkata. So look at we are going to work in our former contribution. So having said that, I invite communication and programs officer of the Center for Memories, Mother Forman Nama, to come and talk about Akọ Bụ Ije and then invite the speaker to the podium. I can also talk at I think
for Akubero, so for Obereka Foko, then we can get the speaker on the podium. Informa, please. All right. Look, I call you. I got more on your programmer.
Igbo mama no. Ọbụkwa ndị Igbo n'ebe a. Igbo mama no. Igbo ana m ekene unu. Igbo ndị ọma mụrụ m ndeewo no. Obi bụ anyị sọsọ aṅụrị, anyị ji obi aṅụrị wee na-anabata unu. Everybody n'ebe a tata, ma ụmụ akwụkwọ ma ndị okenye. Wee na-anabata unu to the December 2024 edition of our monthly distinguished speaker series, Ńkàtá Ụ. Dịka unu si wee ma na Ńkàtá Ụ bụ an initiative of the Center for Memories or ihe omume Center for Memories si guzobe. Ebe anyị na-anọkọ ọnụ dịka ụmụ nwanne dịka ndị Igbo bụ ofu n'ihe eji wee mara ndị Igbo maka ndị Igbo bụ ndị eji ịkpa nkata ịkparịta ụka wee mara. Ọ bụ na enwe issue dị n'obodo, ọ bụ na enwe ihe nidi ka etinye ọnụ, ndị Igbo na-agbakọta ọnụ dịka otu ezinụlọ akpa nkata ihe gbasara ya na otu a ga-esi fụ n'obodo na-aga n'iru. Ọ ya mere Center for Memories ji wee sị na anyị ga na-enwe Ńkàtá Ụ kwa Friday izizi n'ọnwa. Ńkàtá Ụ bido na 2018, na May 2018. The very first speaker anyị nwe bụ Professor Chidi Odinkalụ. Nkata ịkpakwanụ bụ Igbo Ekunie. He talked about Igbo Renaissance and how we can move forward as a people. Then in June we had Dr. Okeke Chukwu. Then we had Dike Chukwu Merije. We also had Chief Nnianwodo. And in October of 2018, we had our very first female speaker and the youngest at the time, Chike, who is an international award-winning journalist. Then Nkata also continued. 2019, we also had like a wide range of speakers coming from different fields with, vast experience. These are people who are industry experts, who have worked over the years, and they are coming to tell us what they know, not what they read in a book. So in 2020, we had 2 sessions of Ńkàtá Ụ. That's in February and March. And then COVID now struck. And because of COVID and the requirement for social distancing, we could not meet together as Ụmụnwanne to have Ńkàtá Ụ. So Nkata went on a very long hiatus, right? For the longest period, we couldn't gather together as Ụmụnwanne to hold Ńkàtá Ụ. Then in December of 2020, we had another session with Professor Osita Ogbu. Then 2021, because of funding and other challenges, Nkata couldn't hold. Then we had 10 sessions of Nkata in 2022, where we had people like Obiasika. We also had the MD of Afia TV, Mr. Emeka Mba, and a host of other speakers. Then 2023 also, Nkata went on another break. But then this year, 2024, with funding and support from the Ford Foundation, we're bringing Ńkàtá Ụ back. And we're so excited to be here today. So we had our first session of Ńkàtá Ụ last month. And we had, many of you were here last month, first Friday last month. And we had Ezenia Ugonabo Ed Emeka Keazo. And you remember the very, very important and very insightful topic that he spoke on, right? And today, we have gathered once again. Nkata gbasara anyị dịka ụmụ nwanne. And as Mr. Ihe already said, that the focus of Ńkàtá Ụ for the next 1 year be on inclusion. How do we ensure inclusion in every aspect of our lives? How do we ensure that we carry everybody along? How do we ensure that every voice is heard and every idea, every important voice every important idea and opinion is also carried along? And so we've gathered today to speak on another very important topic, Akọ Bụ Ije, inclusive approach to transforming Ala Ìgbò. And our speaker, there's something Mr. Yan said, he said that our speaker wears so many hats. And when he says that, he means it literally, actually, because our speaker actually wears so many hats. But then before I speak about the many hats that our speaker wears, I want to very quickly point out that Chief Chike Madueke, or Engineer Chike Madueke, as the case may be, has been one of the day one supporters of Ńkàtá Ụ. In fact, from the inception of Nkata in 2018, he has been very supportive, right? He has also ensured that Nkata gained wider traction, right? And media visibility, because Urban Radio covered Ńkàtá Ụ from the very beginning, and they've kept supporting Ńkàtá Ụ through the ups and downs, and they are still with us. They've been very, very supportive. So we're so happy and so honored to have Chief Chike Madueke as our speaker this month. And I'm going to be inviting him, please, with a resounding round of applause. Please, let's welcome Engineer Chike Madueke as he takes the Nkata stage to lead the conversation on our topic for this month. Thank you very much. Please, let's keep clapping as he comes up. Thank you.
Andy, where can I know? Students, we meet again, right? Are they the same people we met in the afternoon? Great, nice to have you. Andy, where can I know? Do we have the slide on? Is the slide on? Is it on? Okay. All right. I think this edition of Ńkàtá Ụ is such that we will have plenty of time for interaction. As has been given to me, I'm going to talk for 30 minutes. And then after 30 minutes, we'll expect all of us to interact and share our opinion. So it's the name or the topic is Akọ Bụ Ije, developing an inclusive approach towards transforming Ala Ìgbò. Akọ Bụ Ije. Our theme, Akọ Bụ Ije, is a very interesting one, because especially in this year's overarching theme, which is to make it all-inclusive, make it reach the woman, the man, the boy, the girl, the child, and people with plenty of abilities. Because when you have a convergence of people with ideas, you have a situation whereby you put the opinions together and get to refine it in such a way that you get to do what is the best. I'm hoping that at the end of this discussion, we will have inspired everybody in such a way as to take some items back home. And I wish to say thank you very much to Center for Memories for creating this opportunity, and also much more the Ford Foundation for supporting Center for Memories. Please give a round of applause to Ford Foundation. Diversity, challenges, and inclusion. You know, before we go to establish that there is no society without challenges. No society without challenges. Personal challenges, societal challenges, governmental challenges, physical challenges, and all sorts. But it takes the challenging of such challenges to bring out the best in everybody. When I hear people talk about people with disabilities, I say no. It is people with plenty of abilities, because everybody has a challenge. Everybody has a challenge. So I call them people with these abilities, because the abilities are so humongous. In the last Olympic, Nigeria could not even win a gold medal. It was the people with many abilities that won the medals that Nigeria took glory with. A round of applause for people with these abilities. So in this presentation, I make no assumptions at all, and then I hope that everybody benefits from it. I'm happy that you young people are here again and then talking with us. Okay. Now, let us understand Akọ Bụ Ije. Akọ, as a matter of fact, is a very rare word in Igbo language. Akọ, yes, for people who are a lot older, they understand Akọ. But I like to say that Akọ Bụ Ije is not an everyday word. And I've tried to see how I can translate it or explain it in Igbo, in English, but it's quite difficult. But I like to say this. Everybody understand what Uche is, Akọ Uche, right? Okay. Akọ is actually a higher brand of Uche. So if you have Uche and you have extra Uche, then that means you have Akọ. In English, I can say it is the sixth sense. Akọ can be explained as the sixth sense. And if you want to explain it in form of intelligence quotient, IQ, I can tell you that Akọ is higher than IQ, and Akọ can be explained with IQ and EQ put together. That is intelligence quotient and emotional intelligence. So if you put those together, that's how you can come close to what the Igbos call Akọ. Am I making sense? Yes. Now, the Igbos now said to you, Akọ Bụ Ije, which means wherever you are going, in your travels, in your journeys or endeavors, apply Akọ, apply the sixth sense, apply wisdom, in fact, much more than wisdom, such that you can get to where you're going and get your desired result. So that's how I can explain Akọ. Maybe I'm not a professor of Igbo. I hope they don't disprove me, but that's how I'm going to use it for us to all understand. Okay. So Akọ Bụ Ije, for me also, is a philosophy of Ndị Igbo. And it's also a strategy of Ndị Igbo, which is what, when Igbos say, onye ndị iro gba gburugburu na-eche ndụ ya nche mgbe niile, the Igbos go again to say, karịa ebuolu ụfọdụ mmanya. You know what that means? Yes, I know I have enemies all over the place. I'm not going to find enemies in all fronts. So what am I going to do? I am going to appease some of them. That is Akọ in play, especially in Igbo land. That is to say, you do not fight in all fronts. This is the strategy. You must choose your battles. That is how Akọ has played in this contest. So Akọ Bụ Ije is such that let us look at where we are coming from, look at where we are as Igbo, look at where we are going, and then structure how we can get to our destination using that sixth sense, using that wisdom plus, or using Akọ. So Akọ Bụ Ije is the stratagem that we are going to apply in the discussion we're going to have today. Is that understood? I did a little bit of teaching though. So when I call out for response, it goes to tell me that yes, everybody is participating. So where are we today with development? If you look at our place, you could see there's so much insecurity in the land. There's so much unemployment. There's so much degradation of society infrastructure. The roads are uncompleted. We do not have any railways. There are no foreign investments coming into our land. And then the poverty index is actually increasing in Igbo land much more than it was before. Now you look back, you ask yourself, what has happened to the railway that we knew in the 60s, 70s, and sometimes in the 80s? They're no longer there. Now you ask yourself, okay, we want to have development. We need gas pipeline. We need gas. We need pipelines. Where is the gas? There's no gas. Now you ask yourself, where are the MTNs, the big companies that take money from us? Where is their regional office? They're all thinned down. They're all thinned down. Where are they going? They are going to the southwest part of Nigeria. What have we done wrong? What have we done wrong? So when you look at it, you see, some of these things are probably self-inflicting, and that is some of the things we will have to x-ray today. And then if it is so, kedu ka anyị ga-esi well akọ na uche well surmount such problems, because we are here to discuss the growth and development of an Igbo using akọ na uche. Okay? Ọ bụrụ na anyị enwere akọ na uche, then, or if we do not apply akọ na uche, it will seem as if na anyị abụghịzi ndị Igbo. A ga-ajụ mmadụ ọnọzikwa ya. So we look at where we are coming from, and then where we want to be and how we can get there. So I'll take you back to some form of history. Where are we coming from? Now, this is a region, when it was called Eastern Nigeria, we had the whole of what constitutes South-South and Southeast together. If you look at it, 9 states constituted the Eastern region at the time. Managed by one man, the premier at the time, and then he was the chief executive. But something interesting is that this region was the first region to build power plant in Nigeria, the Afam power plant. They built the first power plant, they built the second power plant in Oji River, this region. With the help of the federal government, they facilitated the building of the first refinery in Port Harcourt, in Eleme, Port Harcourt. They built the first cement factory in Nigeria. They moved gas for the first time ever, almost in Africa, from the gas fields to Eleme and to Aba industries. They built the Niger steel, the Niger gas, the ceramics, the glass industries, and each of them first. The first textile mill also was built in Aba. So you could see, how come? And you know, Ababu first. As a matter of fact, some reports say that the Eastern Nigeria had the fastest growing economy that was growing at about 8% by 1966-67. We had the fastest growing economy in the world, growing at 8%. Nigeria just grew by 3.2% 2 days ago, and they were clapping and they're giving kudos to themselves. But this region, where you come from, was growing at the rate of 8%. They were in a hurry. We were in a hurry, which was the problem. We were in a hurry. We were overtaking everybody. And everybody was scared. With the tremendous leap we were making, and it was a very difficult thing to contend that when the war now broke out, it became obvious that we lost almost everything that we had and then had to start life again by the 1970. But even by that 1970, our people charged and then continued to do well, struggling based on the fact that everything they own had been taken away by the war. Families were given £20 to start life, yet they started life, and we continue making tremendous progress. But something has happened. Something has happened. How come the part of Nigeria that first used gas for industrial use does not have a gas trunk line? How come the region in Nigeria that had the first power plant has barely one power plant built since 50 years? Now you ask yourself, how come the region that had the first cement factory is no longer working? Yet we are the highest consumer of cement products. Highest consumer of cement and cement products. How come the first one that we have is no longer working? Is the limestone dried up? So when these questions, keep coming through our mind, we want to know, was it deliberately done to us, or did we do it by ourselves? And then we kind of say, okay, if we want to get back to it, what are the challenges that we are having? Now, we are having challenges in so many fields, so many spheres. We have the insecurity problem, which we do not also know whether they are induced or if we are generating them themselves. If you look at the highways of the eastern region, or the southeast as it is now called, you find that you have too many checkpoints, each of them stopping you at any point, searching you, and actually sometimes dehumanizing you. So are these the consequences of losing the war? Or is it the consequences of the insecurity that we have? Now you ask yourself, if you have all this much of military presence, how come we still have banditry? How come we still have kidnapping? So that's the question. You do not know which one comes first. So now, as Igbo, we are now challenged to get back to ourselves, to talk to ourselves, and say, and that is where the Akọ Bụ Ije comes from. Because if we continue like this, our society, our community, our towns will continue degenerating in such a way that there will be no more future for our people, for our children, and their children. And that is not good enough. And that is why when Center for Memories requested that we talk about the concept of the philosophy of Akọ Bụ Ije, using it as a strategy to motivate Akuru. It was very interesting to me, and I said, yes, I would like to talk about the topic. So I'd like to continue. Just 1 minute, my system just went off. Okay. Okay, so why were we able to do it at that time? Now look at the time I was telling you about was Eastern Nigeria. We had one chief executive, and he was able to do it. Now, as Southeast Zone, we have 5 chief executives. 5 chief executives, and for the 5 chief executives to come together to take decisions, to design projects, it becomes a bit difficult. Now, I'll tell you something again. During the time of Okpara, we had what you call the ENDC. That is the Eastern Nigeria Development Corporation. And it was this corporation that drove the establishment of all the industries I've told you and all the firsts that we scored in terms of power pipeline, refinery, cement factory, gas pipeline, and all that. Now, listen to this. At the same time, the of Nigeria had what you call the Western Nigeria Development Corporation. And they were the same corporation that was able to build the first radio station, build the tallest building they call the Cocoa House, and a whole lot of firsts as well in that region. So there was competition. In the north, they had the Northern Nigeria Development Corporation. And they were the ones that were also promoting development in the north. Albeit they were a bit delayed, but they were still the people that promoted the establishment of Ahmadu Bello University and all sorts, encouraging and attracting such establishment. Now something has happened. As I speak to you, the NNDC, the Northern Nigeria Development Corporation, is still existing. So they can come and sit in that room and say, this is what we are going to do as a Northern Regional Organization. They have changed the name from Northern Nigeria Development Corporation to New Nigeria Development Company Limited. Now, I'll tell you again, in the West, the Western Nigerian Development Corporation is still existing. Now, they call themselves ODUA, the ODUA Group. Now, they've been able to even annex Lagos. And that is why they have formed a group, a very strong group, a very strong force that can come together and say, no, we do not want Igbos. No, Igbos are taking much more than we want to give. So you could see those blocks of organizations are still there. But in the East, what happened? The moment East Central State was carved away from the other states, we did what we call sharing of assets. That is, whatever we own together, everybody come and cut your own. Then Abia was separated, Imo was separated from Anambra. Then Imo and Anambra shared their asset. Everybody come and take your own. Later, we had Abia, Ebonyi, Imo, Anambra, and Enugu, each of them going their separate ways. So we have 5 states, each of them having a cut of the assets they own together. Therefore, there is no basis for even coming and sitting together to talk about development. This is where we are. And I can tell you that most times when you have the Igbo states or the southeastern state governors call for meetings, all of them do not come. I know a case of the Anambra state governor at the time who never comes, who sends the deputy. But you could see that this is not a case where you can have a group that's focused or that's united to forge ahead to what you call developing Ala Ìgbò collectively. So, as a matter of fact, it is difficult. So, we have looked at this. Yes, we are Igbos, we speak one language, but we have different chief executives that can never agree. Each of them has his own style. Each of them has his own challenge. Each of them addresses their challenges differently. As a matter of fact, we are the only subzone that has 4 political parties in 5 states. Can you see the element of disagreement already setting in even before calling for a meeting? So now how do you then get all of them to sit together and talk about security? How do you get all of them to come about and start talking about gas pipeline? How do you get all of them to come together and talk about railway? It is not possible. Because while Enugu and Abia can easily have a railway link, Anambra will say, well, it does not concern us because no railway is coming here. If Enugu says, okay, I want to do limestone deposit, I want to develop the limestone deposit and have a new cement factory, Imo will say, look, that is far away from us. But you see, we have gone to think through and we said, okay, now if this is the situation whereby you have each of the chief executives coming from different landscape and having different challenges, that we would like to have what you call state-to-state cooperation in such a way that states that have common challenges can come together and say, yes, okay, can we develop this project because we have a challenge together. I have one graph I have on the slide. Is it there? Is it there? There's a slide that has a figure. Is it there?
Yes.
Okay. Now, we are saying because 5 government or 5 chief executives will find it difficult to sit together and agree on a solution of the problems we have in Igbo land, why don't we try another method? Because in our eyes, there has been a proposition for a united security system called Ebubago. It did not work. Some agreed, some did not agree. There was a study that came out with another group that called Agunche. It never worked. Some accepted, some didn't accept. They came together and said, okay, let us form the forest guard. All of you were here. The governor in Enugu State established forest guard, brought vehicles for them. Others never accepted to do that. So what is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? All of us know about the Amoteku in the western part of Nigeria. They came, they agreed, they established Amoteku right from Ibadan to Ondo to Ekiti and Oshu. So everybody had Amoteku. But how can we agree? Now, insecurity is the greatest problem we have here now. Enugu has local vigilantes they call Neighborhood Watch. Anambra has what they call AVH, Anambra Vigilante Service. Imo has the Ebubago, which was what they agreed on. So you have all of them. How are they fighting insurgents? How are they discussing or how are they cooperating to make sure that this same problem that we have that's driving our people is discussed, chased out, streamlined, and then utilized? We do not have that. So what we have is everybody doing everything in their own cocoon. So we are asking that apart from individual silos of good governance in each state, every state governor trying to have good governance in their own states, in their relative levels, can we have a situation where we have state-to-state cooperation, where, for instance, if you have boundaries with one of our states, then you can conceive a development project or development feature that benefits the whole of Igbo land. I can give you an example. If you look at the proximity between Enugu State and Anambra State and the vast of land space in the Ugwuoba area, you could say, okay, why not us develop industrial estates or or residential estates in this part of Enugu, such that it can support all the people who are living in Awka, where you probably do not have as much space as you want to. Now, you ask me, why do you say that? In Lagos, you have Agbara. Agbara is a super developed estate that has a tremendous foreign direct investment. But Agbara is in Lagos, but owned by Ogun State. The same way with the likes of all the new areas that are being developed, they're all in Ogun State. But nobody cares. It is congruence, and then wherever you develop, you're generating money. So shouldn't our own people then start this scheme of having any relationship and then coming together, two states, discussing it and applying it? That way, the getting to decisions will be easy. I'll give you another example. Every year we have flooding in Anambra State, Atani and all that. What is happening? The River Niger is silted. The River Niger has no more bowel to accommodate the volume of water that comes into it, and somebody tells you it's dam. It's not just dam. The dam thing is silted. Why can't we dredge the River Niger? The River Niger, when dredged, will take all the water that's meant to come into the River Niger, and then you will then also have access to the sea. If you go to Lagos, every day of a day, you have 2, 3, 4 dredgers going to the entrance of the shore, of the port, in, out. What are they doing? They are making sure that they're keeping alive that blue economy. Why have we left our own blue economy? When we were young, Onitsha was bustling with Ose-Okwodo. Onitsha was bustling with riverside activities. You had pontoons coming in, but where are they? We need to be intentional about these things. We need to be deliberate about these things. These things are real. They are the basic infrastructure for development. If you do not have those basic infrastructure, you cannot develop. Now you look at us. We have the highest gas deposit in Asa North, up to 60 ton TCF. And then instead of building a gas pipeline that passes through Enugu and goes to the north, this pipeline goes under the River Niger and goes across to the west, going to Lagos and going to the north. So when you now say, are these things deliberate? Or are we causing it? Well, you can see some bit of unwritten policies that are playing out. Are we going to continue watching? Whereas you have resources that we can use, and we're not able to use it because of policies that are not favorable to us. Now you want to ask, which one comes first? Somebody says to you, oh, there's no demand for gas in the east. Who says that? Which one comes first? The gas or the demand? Now, let anybody put just one gas pipeline in eastern Nigeria, eastern southeast zone. I will tell you, give it 3 years. 3 years, you will be overwhelmed by the number of industries we have there. And it is also on that note that we are saying to Ndibanye know everywhere you are. If you build industries, if you build one in Lagos, try and do some investment in Ala Ìgbò. There is challenge everywhere. Even in Lagos, the kind of things that happen in Lagos every day, you cannot imagine them, but nobody talks about them. And then we're saying, about no insecurity. Insecurity, because I think it's a deliberate thing for us to say that we do not know who makes calls for ransom. I can't understand it. Everybody has a BVN. Everybody has an NIN. You have your NIN before you get get a phone number, which means that whenever a call originates, we know where it's from and where it's landed. And when money changes hand, money comes from one account and goes into another account, and these accounts are known. So why are we pretending? Why are we pretending when there are challenges we know we can solve by ourselves? We are not solving them. And we are allowing crime and criminals to fester. It is gradually towards extinction, especially in activities depending on our environment. So, it is on that basis that we are saying, now, we've gone through the industrial, agrarian revolution, the industrial revolution. Now, this is the age of internet. The fourth revolution is the internet of things. What can we do? There are many things we can do. Now, these are young people, by the time they grow up and they start working, you may have plenty of their work taken over by robots. Artificial intelligence is setting in such a way that anybody who does not know ICT now, who is not versed with ICT now, will not participate in the next few years. So, if industrial revolution has passed us, let's not let the internet of the fourth revolution pass us. High-tech, internet of things. So what shall we be doing? We should be thinking of laying optic fibers to all our communities, make internet affordable to our people, because now data is everything. Data is everything. We knew during the industrial revolution from agrarian society to industrial society, industrial revolution, right down to electric, and then now the internet. If we do not take cognizance of the fact and then take advantage of it, we will be left hanging. Oh, now, I will tell you Akọ Bụ Ije in the land. One, na-enweta ngwa ọfịs anyị na ebe a na-arụ ọrụ anyị nwere ebe ndị ọzọ. Inwe ofu ebe a ma inwe Igbo, iweleta ofu n'ụlọ. Iweleta ofu n'ụlọ, you create employment. Maka na ọsọ chịrị agba nri, ebe akwanụ ka ị ga-akwado. The Igbos prepare all these things for us, because when they say now, I thought I was just starting. Okay. So, okay. Now, we do not have a choice. Akwa must grow, and then we have the capacity to do it. I'll tell you something. Ndị will be only tribe in the whole world that builds a house where they live in Lagos. They build another one in their state capital, Enugu, for instance. They go home to their village, they build more. Portugal. No other person does it in the whole world. Not me. Not some people. Because we have the potential. I need to and I now share their investment. So, if we have the investment in our Igbo, it is not lost. Although they have investment in our Igbo because we need it. Everyone's having a major. According to they are one that landlords are not sleeping. Landlords are working hard to make sure that they are live a better life. I am now also one of our windows vendors. But if you talk about our way, now it's all. I'm going to use what you use. The one that Lagos, the one that need. But again, the Lagos is not well okay. The making the other than so I'm going to tell you so. You introduced me before, but the person who introduced me, I don't answer chiefs, I'm not one. Yeah? I'm Agbalanze, Chike, Madueke. No other.
Let's give a better round of applause to Agbalanze, Chike and Madueke. There was something he said that really struck me. So we are all familiar with the saying, "Ego onye gone awachi." But now Agbalanze is telling us, "No, ego onye si, all your goals of wachi go the first before wachi goes there go be." And that is a very, 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 very big food for thought for all of us. And it speaks to or it ties to the concept of akunono. Because most of from outside, oh no, yeah, wanaka. So Agbalanze has, he has opened our minds, right? But he has only just scratched the surface. So what we're going to do at this point, to do a little bit of unpacking, right? To delve deeper into the conversation that he has started. And he's seated there already. And I'm going to be inviting someone who is going to lead the conversation, right? We know how we do it. So someone is going to guide the conversation that we're having this evening. And then, she's going to ask our speaker questions, and then she'll throw it open to the audience also to engage. Nkata right? Or lecture, Ńkàtá Ụ. Alright, so to lead the moderated part of Ńkàtá Ụ this evening, I'm going to be inviting an award-winning journalist, a broadcast journalist, event host, and voiceover artist, storyteller, and so many other things. People who invite to our Nkata stage always wear many hats, just like Agbalanze himself. He's the president of Akọ Bụ Ije, he's the MD of Urban Radio, he's so many things rolled into one. And he has shown you when he was speaking about akunono, he's a living example of that akunono. I mean, Urban Radio could have been set up anywhere in the world, but he chose Ala Ìgbò. So he's telling you what he's been living by, not what he thinks people should be doing. So please let's put our hands together. As she comes on to the stage to the first session. Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the Center for Members for the opportunity. I attended my first Nkata in 2022. That was when Chike spoke. And it was insightful. That speech actually inspired one of my best articles for the Nollywood Reporter that year. So thank you so much, everyone. Please let's celebrate Mr. Chike Madueke. Thank you. Okay, so I think my interest piqued my interest when you started talking about Akọ, right? And a lot of conversations have been held. You see, some people will be like, if I know someone who is currently in Lagos, and this person's theory is that the East has nothing from me. So this person says, okay, the person is interested in advertising. There are no advertising agencies in Southeast that I know of. Or is there any advertising agency? There's none, right? So you hear this person say, this is my passion, this is the path that I want to go into, but there's nothing here for me in the East. The person now takes flight to Lagos. That's one. You see people who are also interested in breaking into the entertainment industry. It's thriving here in the Southeast, but you see, the growth is slow. And they take another flight to Lagos because it provides more opportunities for them. Now the question lies in, will you tell these people, stay back in the East, let us build the East together, we will get there eventually, just stay because Akọ Bụ Ije. Thank you, sir.
Want me to talk about that?
Yes.
Okay. Firstly, I'd like to recognize my friends who are here. Nice to have you. Nice to have you too. Ńkàtá Ụ started with the first discussion we had with you. We can't also be giving us I guess that was mine when I started my discussion. I said where we were. I took time to explain where we were. When we had the likes of Anamco here, you had a plethora of foreign workers. You had Fujio, you had all big companies that were here. You had plenty of foreigners who were working. You have sub-regional offices. You have head office of some insurance companies. You may have the ACB has its own head office here. Now, with the deterioration of the security situation, people started aggressive and leaving and leaving. And then it's unfortunate that we are alive and watching it happen. Now, I'm happy you mentioned advertising companies. Yes, then we had plenty of advertising companies. What the name? The Willis advertising company was here. Yes, Mr. Mark was here. There are the ones also who have the billboards. Huh? No, Rokana was also here. So you had a handful of them. So there was no doubt about it. The East had or East was booming. And when you're talking about it, the same thing was also happening over the night advertising agencies. And then you also had the same thing in Malaysia. But with the fact that there was also, what I can tell you, very part of the developing the East. Developing the East. If you deeply develop the East, then must have been some developing pathway which can make them go to where the fruits are lower to the plots. The same thing happened in Port Harcourt. Every oil company had its head office in Port Harcourt. Every. Gradually, due to the deliberate policy of God, all of them started moving out from Port Harcourt. So the mobiles moved out to Port Harcourt, the Totals moved out to Port Harcourt, the Chevrons moved out to Port Harcourt. Where are they going? So if you were in Port Harcourt, for instance, of course, we're able to start a business flag. What would you do? You follow the big corporations and go to where they are. But we are saying, if you are a chief executive in any of those organizations, now start thinking home and start requesting that we plant a regional organization or regional office in Nigeria. If you are a chief executive that manufactures tire pharmaceuticals, you say, no, we have to have at least a small one in the East. If you build houses or as a real estate person, you say, okay, now we have estates in Lagos. We have to go back to the East and also develop some estates in the East. That's what we're saying.
All right, please let's celebrate Mr. Chike for that wonderful response. And that makes a lot of sense. If you as an able person, you are out there having these establishments, it only makes sense that you bring it home, right? Thank you. So I think my next line of questions stems from leadership. Leadership. Yes, the Southeastern leaders. And it appears to seem that the crux of the problem is how the leaders in different Southeastern states are approaching the situation. Do you think that things would be different if there were more, if maybe young people were governors instead of maybe people who are in their 50s or 60s?
There is a a very correct question to ask because General Moore was president, the head of state for Nigeria at 34. He was governor of Eastern Region at 34. And then it's a right question for you to ask and say, oh, why can't young people take the helm of affairs? You also ask yourself, if it was older people that were holding this position, would there have been a war? Did you think of that? Have you ever thought that maybe some kind of exuberance about 30-year-olds that have eventually led us to the war? Did you think about that? So when you now talk about, oh, old people are there, that's wisdom in age. If older people, if Zeke was in the head of affairs, then there will be no war. If our was there will be no war. They will talk, and there will be no war. But we have that 3-year-old boys. I can't remember when I was 33, I didn't have any control of anything, including my own finances. I have 33-year-olds in charge of the place. Everybody puts on bags from Lagos, someone replies it and said, okay, if you don't, let us do this. So, in hindsight, there have been youthful exuberance that caused the war, but let's do it for another day.
Let's do it for another day. Thank you. And this goes to say, if you have questions from the audience, please start preparing them. I think after these questions, we take questions from the audience and then go back to the conversation again. Mr. Chike, when you started, you mentioned how there were many firsts for the people. The first power plants, the first cement factory, the first of many things. And that's really inspiring. But I really want to know, I'm sure a couple of people here want to know this. Hello, okay. We want to know the same thing. Was there anything that caused that level of development? Like, did the Igbos just look and say, oh yes, we need this, let's do this, we need this, let's do this? Did anything spark that level of development back in the days?
Yes, it took leadership. When we talked about leadership in the East, I started again by saying the Eastern Nigeria at that time was led by one man, Akọ. And he had one organization that worked for him, the EDC, Eastern Nigeria. But right now we have 9 governors administering what Agbalanze was administered before. 5 in the southeast and 4 in Rivers, Bayelsa, Kosina, and Akwa Ibom. So you see 9 different heads thinking and arranging and working on what one can do. And then you also wanted to ask me about the caliber of leadership. I'm sure that's what you wanted. And choosing leadership in I'll tell you something, which when you go home, you think through it and you will think through it. Leadership in Igbo land is a big problem. Not because Igbos are difficult to lead, but you need to be an extra person to lead the Igbo person. So, like when Mama said, ndị Igbo adịghị so mmadụ, Igbo na-eso mmọnwụ. Igbo adịghị so mmadụ, Igbo na-eso mmọnwụ. Michael Obara was born, and when he went, Igbo followed him. Nnamdi Azikiwe was born, when he went, Igbo followed him. Ojukwu was born, when he went, Igbo followed him. If Nnamdi Kanu, peace. But unfortunately, it's a masquerade that we have. We allowed him the market and we didn't have a nation. So that's the critical thing about family. Yes, we do not have the caliber of go-getters as we had then, as leaders. That's why you find out that followership is a bit lukewarm, because they do not particularly go or do things that superwomen do. Well, we give kudos to what is happening in Abia and Enugu now, and we think it is because of the caliber of people who are doing everybody actually value. So that's the way I can explain that to you. But we talk about Igbo leadership on another day.
Okay, thank you. And the question you get to ask yourself today is, are you an mom? I think that's the important question you should ask yourself. Are you an mom, or are you just sitting there looking at us to, I don't know. All right, so question 7 hands. Okay. Okay, let's start here.
Ohere a wee na-ekene ndị Igbo niile nọ ebe a. Eziokwu tata bụ ụbọchị mbụ m na-abịa program a. And oge bidoro ya, obi m ra ka enyi. Adị m very very happy ka e bidoro ya. Maka onwe ihe kpata m ji wee dị very happy ka Agbalanze bidoro ikwu okwu. O recognize ndị a na-akpọ people with these abilities. M wee dị very very happy. Mana ka Agbalanze na-ekwu okwu na-ekwu ife gbasara development and ife niile si ya. Maka development si wee si ya n'Igbo wee na-apụ na-eje ebe niile o jegasị. Nke bụ na ndị Igbo ọfịazi efe alụ ịmatadị ebe ha si esi. Amanọzi m ka o si kwutezie maka ndị disabilities a. Maka na oge a mụrụ anyị the late 50s, anyị wee nwee condition dị otu a. Ama m na ụdị treatment e nyere anyị oge ahụ ọ tọrọ ụta cha. Ụfọdụ n'ime anyị anọ na-ezo anyị n'okpuru akwa eji edina. O nwere ihe gbasara skuul a na-ekwute okwu ya n'ebe anyị nọ. Mana ụfọdụ n'ime anyị mechakwa ka Chineke si alụ ọrụ ya. Anyị wee sepụta isi wee shie ọnwụ wee tinye isi na skuul. Mana ka anyị gụba akwụkwọ agụbụ ya, anyị gụtakwara ya mma maka na ịbịafụ na ụlọ akwụkwọ oge ahụ, egwu onye nke mbụ gụọ onye nke bụ gụọ onye ịtọ gụọ onye ịnọ gụọ onye ise, ị ga-agụta atụ ofu onye n'ime ndị anyị nwere nkwarụ ahụ. Anyị mesie alụgba ọrụ oyibo, ndị ọrụ oyibo bịakwa onye isi efu suutu fa n'ọnụ oyibo bịa ipostuo ndị dị ka anyị nwa n'ebe fa nọ fa na-asụ anyị asụ, anyị jisikwa ike na-eme ka anyị si eme. Tata bụzi ndị otu anyị ka a na-anụzi maka ha all over the world. Ịbịazie fụ Paralympics, anyị kpolu medals na-anata ebe ụbọdị ones na-enwero nke faji. Ebe ịbụ na ndị otu anyị na-anara afụ ụzọ fa enwezie PhDs bụzia prọfesọs. Biko ebe nna Jizọs Agbalanze ka ezi ka a ga-esi faktọ anyị n'ihe a na-eme. Ife a nafe egwu ka anyị Igbo dị mma, onwe ka anyị ga-esi bata ka ọ na onwere ife nwere ike isi from ndị otu anyị pụta nwere ike ịtọ ọnụnwụ anyị Igbo round. Biko ka anyị chekere na-eche towards this direction. Agbalanze lead dị echiche biko.
If you take note, in my second paragraph, I said, anybody even you who have I said personally, and I have seen a man with disability, that I do not see disability there, but I see plenty of abilities. And then also, anybody even you put that personal meaning without discrimination or exclusion. That was kind of welcome, because I do not like to as the Olympics, people we call here disability. They are the people who have the ability to bring us medals. So that's how I explained it. And I said, I'm discussing this in January because I do not see any disability in any. And people, everybody has a challenge. The challenge may be the one that you see physically. Others go with challenges physically. We are all disabilities. That's what I used to start the discussion. And that's why I didn't go back to everything can be. Everything can be. You know what I mean? In fact, onye ọbụla nwere ya weta ga-ewe ndozi Igbo. I do not want to say na ndị a bụ nke a because it's fiction. And that's why I always say these abilities that always because every time they are proving to have these abilities, people do not know. So I say that everybody has a challenge. That's my second slide. Everybody has a challenge. Everybody can apply. Everybody can apply. But these discussions I'm going to have today will include everybody, but an inclusivity clause that I raised in my second slide. So, what of mercy? And the other one I'm going to imagine.
Thank you. Thank you. Please let's have the man like this. Okay, go on.
Thank you so much, Agbalanze. So I just have a question to ask her, but maybe the question to one or two Omaka. So the first question would be, I could say, Bible. Currently in Nigeria, maybe using Lagos and Enugu State as a case study. Is the Igbo man likely, the Igbo businessman, likely to succeed more in Igbo land than in those places like in Lagos? And if the answer is no, which I'm not concluding, but I want to have your thought on that, what will be the incentive for the Igbo man to bring his business back to the Southeast, which currently over time, when assessed, when you look at the ease of doing business index, it is poor in the Southeast. Thank you.
I probably want to say which one comes first, the egg or the chicken. Yeah? But the fact remains that ever at this level, and often in the most people see have grown, and when it's unfortunate, and I've said to you, now, Kwasimuya, not watching that to work for Makana, only way to do it. We had a situation in Port Harcourt. Upon abandoned property, up to now, nobody has said anything. So, Igbo, I don't even know. So, you want to say, only Igbo, or you're measuring my business, you're the most man and Igbo. Of course, not the Igbo get here for okay, after the war, I can tell you, Aba was the center of textile. People go from any to get textile. So why don't you bring your business here? I'm not going to actually I'll be able to tell you more actually in the Lagos if I hey now as far as getting an furniture. These are the wisdom that we need to apply without rationalizing the fact that profit of the year. All of profits can be done. I think there is no Canada. All right. No. We have a responsibility here, otherwise we will lose our place. Follow
And that responsibility, a good business is their brothers. What will be the incentive? Because I think that part of the thing also would be ability to look at the face and talk to ourselves. Because sometimes I don't just understand. Him open and marry just a business. They like Lindy, but what a hate lending here. When open and think Maggie, your problems. You look for, every businessman first and foremost looks for profit. You know, patriotism or maybe ndị Igbo na-esi na-atọ ụtọ. Ọ bụrụ na ijide ihe eji eme. Ịbata ndị bụ na ego for title. Isolo na ọrụ na-ekwula akụ. Mana ọ bụrụ na ị nọrọ there, you can't even rise. I'm just wondering what will be so that when we are marketing, I'm one of the advocates of Akolono. Mana sometimes you na-ekwu na anụ because if you're a researcher, you want to hear from the people. Why you chose Lagos above maybe a place like Enugu? Oh yeah, even in the business they had it here. Sometimes they are not finding it funny. But of course, I commend the patriotism. Like when Afia came to Enugu, or something be here taller iota. Man, if you check because sometimes some of the things some of those platforms face, it takes a lot of will to actually do business here. But it's still commendable anyways. Thank you.
Okay, after this location, that kind of Lagos. Another business is profitable. So what we have that's what I'm saying. Right now, I will just people are in Lagos. If you are getting the do an set up a business. As if set a business in Lagos, or when you shop, you will not turn an Igbo and then a shop. You will employ 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 people. Even someone having an Igbo with insecurity, part of it being unemployment. But people don't want to find them. People don't want to be together. They don't want to find them. So let us create the jobs here. And it's a lot easier now with technology. Let's bring back tech businesses back home. So you know, we are on our world. And that's what they're saying. Nobody will do it for us. And unfortunately, that's what we're doing for other people in their places.
To ask another question from what he said, I'm going to use advertising as another thing, right? I'm using it because I am happy in that industry. I have people there, right? So, the thing about target audience, right? I've spoken with a couple of advertising professionals, and you hear them say something like, the typical Igbo man does not exactly see the need of investing millions into bringing an act to life. You were able to millions, write script, do this, do that, shoot video that you will post on YouTube or sponsor ads on social media. That they did not see the need in those things. So when or if an advertising agency finds its way in the Saudi, it becomes they can go bankrupt because their customers are not here. So I think I want you to address this mindset thing that the Igbos do not see the need in investing millions in something. If somebody said an Igbo man is looking for how he can make more than spending less. So I'd like you to address this scenario.
Okay. Business generally is making money as spending less. So that's the first principle of business. Reduce costs. Organize. So these people can say that and do services. But I do agree with you. Those are poor in advertising, sponsoring adverts. Those are poor at sponsoring media houses. Those are poor at supporting media houses. That's also something.
Thank you. Please let's have you.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Agbalanze. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was so wonderful. My question is about the political diversity in the Southeast, because you said it was one of the things that maybe was holding us or is holding us back, because you said we have 4 political parties here, and it could be one of the reasons why some of our chief executives, by that year, I mean the governors, cannot come together and talk about how these developments, how they can work hand in hand and develop the region. But I really want to ask, because I've heard in other spaces where people made a point that our political diversity is actually good for us, because according to them, Nage and Wendy Bona APC, Wendy Bona PDP, Wendy Bona Labour Party, and APGA and all of that. So I really want to ask, what really is the relationship between our political affiliation and development in Ala Ìgbò? Is there really a connect? Is there really a nexus between what political parties our governors belong to and development? Because I really want to think that development is a thing of will, okay? An APC man can develop, can join hand with a PDP man and develop his region, or a PDP man can actually develop his state, and an APC man can also do the same thing where he works. So what really is the relationship between our political affiliation in the Southeast and development in our region? Thank you.
Okay, well, it's a very difficult question to answer because it gets into human behavior, which as a scientist is always very difficult for me to put a formula to it and get an answer. But I want to answer this way. The East, at a time where purely or mostly in a party called the PDP, before these integrations and situation and breaking into other parties. We could have seen, I think we did see plenty of activities during that period. And that answers the question when you asked, does party affiliation have to do with development? Yes, it does. Now, when you are affiliated to a party, you need to be the principal officers in that party for you to direct development. Now you see what is happening to us in the new parties that we are not principal actors. It's not coming here. In some case, somebody said to us, we are only a dot in a circle. So I agree with you, political affiliation has a way. And then if anybody says, okay, we need to be in different parties so that we can put this in, the fact means where, at what level of the region are you in that party? At what level are you in that party to be able to attract development and development infrastructure? That's how I will answer that question. As a matter of fact, it's a big problem.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Agbalanze. You have done great justice to the discipline that is the Southeast. I want to be an Mmong tonight. So I'm not going to just ask questions. I'm also going to do a bit of lecturing. Students are here. They know what teaching means. Akọ Bụ Ije is one of the greatest concepts that Igbos need to expound on and work on. Because why? The Igbo, like you said, is greatest in many things. The Igbo is greatest in national diaspora. The Igbo is also greatest in international diaspora. It's not just international diaspora. There is Damaturu, it's a national diaspora. Of course, New York is international diaspora. So, I'm propounding a theory called Diaspora 10% Tight. Diaspora 10% Tight to the Igbo kingdom. I have discussed this severally with Chief Etiaba, who is here present. What it means, just like Igbos pay most of the tithe in churches, 10% tithe should be paid to Igbo land. And that is the nexus that you have discussed. That it's not all pecuniary. I was in Lagos for 25 years. Sure, I was making good money. In fact, my economy must have depressed by about 80% since I came to the Southeast to live in the past 10 years. But I'm very, very happy about my life in the Southeast, despite having much less money in my pocket. So this 10% tithe, we must pay it. Corporate tithe, you have factories in Abara. I have a friend who is running about 4 factories in Abara. I told him when he got the Exim loan, why don't you think Obi? He has one of the biggest big factories in Africa today. He took advantage of the ban Obasanjo had on importation of biscuits. Applied for Exim loan, got $6 million then. I said, Obi, why don't we take this money to the East? He sat me down and told me, just like this gentleman here was talking, about the difficulties of doing business in the Southeast. It is monumental. Your container cannot cross Bini without you having spent thousands, hundreds of thousands and millions, depending. So, nsogbu dị n'ala Igbo. Better meji mgbabu wee galogu. That is my own lecture today. So that 10% must be paid corporately, commercially, even professionally. Those of you that are in the professions, that are top consultants, that are making things happen in places like Edo State. God Almighty will allow our leaders here in the Southeast to help to have people like you advise them. Because a lot of times you do advice from pro bono, which I'm privileged to know. If doing business in the Southeast was easy, Emeka will not cite Afia TV, which I listen to from morning to morning. I find it refreshing. He's not looking for money. He's not all pecuniary. He brought it here because Akụ must do what? Akụ must lue uno. So my question may not be answered today. Is what you said, why is it impossible for sub-regional cooperation? Why won't a rail line run from Aba to Onitsha, from Onitsha to Nsukka, and vice versa? Thank you very much, Agbalanze. My name is Ikenna Modibel. I represent Odenibo Media. Thank you, sir.
I want to also say something for what you said. Container in Abidi. It's a challenge. There's challenge everywhere. Even in Lagos, I have a factory in the state. I face that challenge. I have factories in the east. I face challenges. Every place has its peculiarity. You said it right. I don't think you must make up your mind what you want to do. And you go ahead and do it. I don't make a factory. Akọ Bụ Ije because these days I bring things in from airport. I don't go to Lagos. I don't bring things in again from Lagos. From airport to Enugu, maybe 10 checkpoints. From Lagos, it's 98. So, Akọ Bụ Ije. Now, there are also dry ports in Enugu, which means you can consign your goods into Enugu. So they come straight into the dry port of Enugu. Enugu can get your container. So, I never mind to work well at all. Yeah? And then when you talk about the diaspora funding, no doubt about it. Because if I had gone down my representation, I could have gone to funding. You know, when I mentioned the fact that Nandi Igbo that means we have capacity, we have capability. I'll tell you something, if today Igbo Fumo Gaspa will tell you, I will tell you in 1 minute. If actually they say I want 1 million Igbo families to give me 1 million naira. In 24 hours you get it. How much is that? Or 1 trillion. Is it the money I want one family to give me $1,000. 1 million Igbo families can give you $1,000. You have 1 billion. Other can they JBT because so we have the capacity. But we need the environment and the leadership to get things going. But onye onye ọbụla n'uche na ruo ụlọ amara ebe o si amara onye kpatara ya na ebe onye si ka ọ na-awachi ọkwasị ụmụ ya atụ ọjị fitụ ọkpọrọ maka ada ama onye ebe ji emeburu ji ya ana ụba n'okpoko bụ gịnị mere ya iji esi ya. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a question.
Question again?
Yes.
I thought we finished.
This should be the after this, we take the man and we're done. We have about 10 minutes left. Please. After this, we take the man and we're done. Okay, this person says, what can you say about neo-paganism and the way and manner the youth incorporate some of those negative traditions in their current daily lives? For instance, the Okite, Igomo, Yahoo Plus, and all. Does these things have any form of Asiacom in it, looking looking at the way our youths go about it?
Well, all those things are facing consequences of unemployment. All and that's why they're in the 8 o'clock office. They have to do time. Very people, they don't have time for all this. But over now, so let us create the jobs and keep our young people busy. That's our responsibility. And I applaud every man who knows anything on the outside. Each and a prophet, young and down of their spiritual suffering. I'm happy everybody with for bringing our faith in here. But you will see that, and then nobody just say, because we do not support media from our own part of our country. But these are
information means that we've only taken questions from the men. So please let us take questions from 2 women and call it a night and evening, whatever it is. Okay, so let's have 2 women ask questions, then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, good evening, sir. You wowed me. You got me shaking a bit. You are bringing back the memory of my late grandfather because you have excess wisdom in Ngabasi. Sir, I'm here because I am a child that I don't think I can be overfed. I have been following Nkata since 2022. And for me, it's because I feel I have not really gotten what I'm looking for. I'm from Ebonyi State. And most times when we talk about the states in the southeastern part, it's as if we forget Ebonyi State exists. When we are reciting 36 states and capital, it's as if Ebonyi State is just for formality's sake. Ebonyi is getting developed. We talk about infrastructures. We might not be there yet, but we are close. We have good roads. It's a peaceful land. But then the question is, not just for business people, but for young people like me and some others I know who are doing beautifully well in Enugu State and other states in Nigeria and across the globe. The issue is, nobody wants to do anything in Ebonyi. It's as if nothing is existent there. And for people like me, I'm a home girl. To live is an issue, not because I'm not needed elsewhere, but because I believe what I do is more needed at home than any other place. But then we need funds. We need money. It's the fuel that helps the vehicle go moving. So my question is, please, what is the way forward? Like, how do we convince investors that Ebonyi State has a lot of untapped potentials, not just in human capital, but also in minerals too? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, and I will want to say that, yes, seemingly, it's like people say Ibuni is always forgotten. That is not the truth. Ibuni is a corporate member of Igbo land and a corporate member of the Amigo we're talking about. We want to give kudos to the past governor for what he did in the Ebonyi State. The infrastructure he put down is a great example. And he built an airport. He built a flyovers all over the place. He built a school of College of Medicine. Yes, people say, oh, why does Ebonyi build airport? Why wouldn't Ebonyi build airport? What's wrong with that? The more you open up Amigo, the more you have capacity for people to come in. And the foreign direct investment that flies into Ebonyi takes 20 minutes to the government house. But if it's a plant in Enugu, it takes him 2 hours to get to government house. So I do not see anything wrong with it. But this case of Akuro should also be touching Ebonyi people, because Ebonyi people are doing very well. If you go to Computer Village in Lagos, there are many of them. If you go to Onitsha now, they are in charge of the market. You know that? Yes. So, Ebonyi, I na-agwapụ unu. Na-enwenata na-akụ unu n'ụlọ. And from a Kingdom point of view, we supported the computer village in Lagos to come and take a space in Ebonyi State. And they started a computer village in Ebonyi. So people are making efforts to bring Ebonyi into the fold. Ebonyi must also work hard as well to bring themselves in. Last December, we gave an award to Dave Umahi for that tremendous work he did. These are inclusivity activities, which goes to say that there is no exclusion about any Igbo land in any way. We appreciate Ebonyi is part of Igbo land. We encourage businesses in Ebonyi, more so now that the infrastructure is there. And we're looking forward that if things start to improve, flights will start coming into Ebonyi. And if you don't have flights coming to you, you can land in Abakaliki and then get back here. So those are the kind of interconnectivity that we're asking about.
Let's celebrate that very powerful response. Okay, we can take 2 more questions. But I was hoping for a lady to go next. All right, let's have it over.
Good evening. Okay, Mr. Raymond Ikedife. Yes, sir. It's a pleasure, sir. Agbalanze, it's really a blessing listening to you. I've heard so much about you, hearing you for the first time and seeing you for the first time today. I've been longing for discussions like this or conversations like this, and it's indeed an honor to be in your very presence. Okay, we've been talking about Akọ, but I want to believe that the companies or the industries that were in the Southeast before now, they didn't just live, they were setting triggers that led to their living Southeast. And I think it's paramount that we identify those triggers, because until we identify those triggers, we may not be able to encourage the Akọ that we want. And like we've heard, some people have actually said, people say it's difficult to do business here. We need to identify those things. Is it corruption? Is it prejudice for the Igbo man? A whole lot of things has come to my, to my mind. So until we identify this, identify them, itemize them, and solve those problems, and have more of these roundtable discussions that will be aired around the world, I think until that is done, we may not, basically get something very, very concrete and consolidated. Thank you very much.
I agree with you completely. We must continue discussing it. When I was talking, I said, maybe deliberate policies or written policies. I mentioned those because I gave an example using gas. I gave an example using power plants. A region that set up the first 2 power plants after independence does not have one. A region that has the highest deposit of gas does not have one gas pipeline. A region that laid the first gas pipeline in 1963 to Transamadi and Aba Industries. Somebody saying that there is no demand. There's an irony of it. So, yes, there may be some deliberate development policies that are being passed that are impacting on us, but often they can be still where make an yammer, but I never see Kaima. I make a yammer and I never make Kaima. On Akọ Bụ Ije. That is a subject for another discussion.
Good evening, Agbalanze. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. So my question is really simple. Since the colonial era, we were doing warrant chiefs. Before then, there is a lot of conflict on how we run our local society. Some said we are Republicans. Others say we had Ndi Nzenozo, that we are in charge of those things. But that's by the way. My question is this. Since the introduction of warrant chief system, and now what we have, the current system where we have traditional rulers being appointed by governors, things have gone from bad to worse. These are the local representatives. They are the direct link to the grassroots. And if they are in the pockets of politicians, they are no good to the people they oversee. So my question is this. We've been doing this since the colonial era, and it's not working. Isn't it time we went back or found a way to make our local institutions strong in a way that they are able to hold politicians accountable and not the other way around? Thank you very much.
My sister, your observation is quite correct. If you want to really look at it, you could see that
so much damage done to us, our culture, by colonization. There's also so much damage done to us even by the church. So you can see they changed our pattern of living. We had a pattern of living, we had our way of life. Yes, when people say we are Republicans, yes, but I used to say that we are the most democratic people in the world because we never had kings. Yes, when they say it's true. What we had was even the people who, when Igbos want to talk, they come to the market square. The chief or the king will be there, and he'll be the custodian of Ife Eku. That is democracy. No such a democracy. We're very democratic. That is why only Igbo Jabu asking Ife for him, he does not have that regard for Eze. He only sees him as a symbol. Different from our friends in the West, Obaku anything, it's binding to everybody. Our friends in the North, Emir Obaku anything is binding for everybody. Because that was how their empire developed. We never had an empire. So, I need independent people that respect the rule of law. The rule of law in Igbo land is that Imenka, the Kwanka, the Igbo mother, Israeli, Agako, Navia, or something like that. Mom will come to your house. Those are the things in the Igbo TV. Imagine shadow their society. But colonialization there, Ochapia, we tell any court magistrate. We tell any police, we tell any prison. We didn't have all those. So, my dear sister, your observation is very correct. I cannot manage to see about but as a matter of fact, as a people, our natural habitat has been deleted, and our way of life also nurtured.
All right, please let's celebrate for that response. We've taken all the questions, but we have very deep comments from the chairman of Enugu State Sports Club, Sir Victor Atom. He said, just an advice. For our region forward, let us de-emphasize states of origin, especially from our CVs. Here's the part to say dangerous.
Very good suggestion, but I can tell you, it is probably the newer governors that are going to do it. It's probably the newer governors that are going to do it. When Soludo came into power, he set up a transition committee that had all Igbo people come together. Atom, I also know your own case. You're a proponent of another state working in Enugu State. Abia State has appointed an Anambra person as a mayor, and he said, I do not bother about where man comes from. This is the new philosophy we're also preaching. And yes, we know it's a problem. I can't say if it was the military or politicians that caused it. Oh, you're not an indigenous. Oh, indigenous stuff. We had a problem. It was a big problem at the time. I'm happy the new governors are reversing those things gradually. And we are seeing that when we go about for you to tell an Igbo man never I'm thinking that it's going to be a thing of the past if we continue to
Right, please let's celebrate. If you enjoyed, put your hands together. Ichi kwaka iga kwakofma. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. And with that, we've come to the end of this session, and I'll bring back the lady to take over, and we can have our seats. And thank you so much, Mr. Chike. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Chinwalum. Please, just before you leave, please let's give them a better round of applause. Please. Chinwalum Ogo has a good job of driving the conversation. She has asked really incisive questions and, also the questions from the audience. It's been an interesting and engaging session. For me, I don't know for you, but I'm hoping that it's been the same for everyone here. And as we know, Nkata continues. It doesn't just end here. So we need to, carry the learnings and the experience and whatever we've picked from this interaction today and go into our different communities and try to implement these things. For those of us who are in government, think what you can do, how you can implement some of these things that Agbalanze has said this evening. If you are in business, if you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you do, there is something for everyone. So please, let's not just leave this place and leave everything that we picked behind. Please, let's take the message into the world. So very quickly, I'm going to be calling on Chief Ben Etiaba. So we have just a little token of appreciation for our moderator and also our speaker. So I'll invite Chief Ben Etiaba, the former chairman of Enugu Sports Club, to make the presentation to the moderator. Thank you. Please come forward. Please, let's be clapping now. See.
This is a surprise to me that I'm called to make this presentation to Chino Alumogu. Wonderful. China Alumogu, wonderful name. It's on behalf of the conveners of Nkata Ụ and the Center for Memories, through the sponsorship of Ford Foundation, and also with support from Avia TV, Urban Radio. Chike Madueke wears many hats this evening. May I make this presentation to you?
Please clap.
Thank you. You did very well. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Chief Ben. I'm also inviting the current chairman of Enugu Sports Club, Sir Victor Atuomu. Please come and make the presentation for our speaker. Please, let's put our hands together as he comes up. Please keep clapping. Please. Thank you.
I make bold to say that Agbalanze is our daughter from Enugu Sports Club. So this is from Enugu Sports Club, Enugu Sports Club. Akọ Bụ Ije. We're looking at the same approach because I call Akọ Facts. I'm the Igbo. I'm the Chukwu because So on behalf of For Memories, I present this to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Victor. Thank you, Agbalanze, for your presentation this evening and for your support to the Center for Memories over the years. Thank you very much. So, we're wrapping up. We always try to keep to time, right? All right, so very quickly, I'm going to be inviting the MD of Afia TV, Chief Emeka Mbatu, please come and do the vote of thanks for us, and then we'll close for the day. Thank you. Please let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much. I want to start by thanking Agbalanze, Chike, Madueke, someone that I've, known for many years. Many of the advice that you've given me over the years, I hope you see that I'm trying to keep to some of them. But Center for Memories. On the first day I walked into this building and recognized and saw what you guys were doing, I can't thank you enough. I think the whole of Igbo, I want to be on the region and in the Obodo, our diaspora, we can't thank you enough for what you're doing. And I think, especially to the young people, how you bring the young people, and it speaks to the motto, Makonya, Ta Nechi. It's really, really very important. And I think we also need to thank your supporters, especially your funders, the Fund Foundation. Because I know that this particular platform had some hiccups, very important, and they came to our rescue. So I think we really need to thank Fund Foundation for keeping the fire burning. And indeed, I think to the schools that came, let me try and remember them, Model Comprehensive, Claret Academy, Wing School, and Nigerian Young Professionals. I think it's very important that you guys have continued that tradition of bringing young people, especially the schools, to listen, because we have to carry, there's something we call institutional memory. It's not just speaking to all of us who are past our sell-by date, but especially the young people. So I thank you guys for doing this. We can't do this without, obviously, I know we've talked about Chief Ben and Tiaba a lot, but there's a reason. One of the reasons why we have this platform is because of your contribution. So I want to thank you personally, and also the family of this building. We want to thank you for your leadership, your visionary leadership. Under your leadership of the Stanley Sports Club, you gave this platform a whole. So I thank you very much, sir. My Oga, Sir Victor, thank you, as always, for continuing to keep the fire burning. Thank you so much. I want also unity of people with disability. You guys, thank you so much. Always supporting this platform. I'll keep this group for the last. Yeah, the last one. Let me thank our media partners. I'm reading from the list, not because I work there. Urban Radio, that my Oga is founder and CEO of. Solid FM, Signature TV, Voice of the East, and our branding partners. What a name. I like it. Huh? Who's up? Full name. I think that, what my own 2 cents about this is so profound that we live in an age where it's not just about, there's intelligence and there's wisdom. Okay? And I think this whole lecture speaks to how we adapt. We have intelligence, but let's use tact. That is what is going to guarantee our success and our survival. So thank you very much. Lastly, of Center for Memory, the staff, and the management, as well as a team of incredible volunteers. And all of us who have gathered here today to listen, to engage, thank you very much for coming. I think that's it. My job is done.
Thank you so much for that wonderful acknowledgement. So, on that note, we've come to the December 2024, come to the end of the December 2024 edition of our monthly Ńkàtá Ụ. So, Nkata will be coming back in February. So, we're not going to have Nkata in January because first week of January, first Friday in January, many of us will still be in our villages drinking palm wine and eating abacha and nkwobi, and we don't want to interrupt your, Christmas and New Year festivities. So we're going to skip Nkata in January. So we're going to be reconvening in February, first week of February 2025. And I'm excited already. We're going to announce our speaker for February, and I look forward to see all our beautiful and handsome faces. So thank you so much. Now, before we leave, we're going to please come to the podium, to the stage, to have a group photograph, and then, networking continues. Please don't leave here without connecting with at least one person in this platform. Please, it's really very important. Remember that Nkata is an intergenerational platform, especially for the young people here. Really very important. Look around. Look at someone who you think can inspire you, maybe in the work that you do, someone working in the area where you work, and try to connect with them and get mentorship and support and whatever it is that you need. So please, on that note, thank you so much for joining us this edition, and we look forward to seeing you in February. So please come forward so we'll have the group photograph and then we can leave. Thank you.